You wake up, go to the bathroom, and the stream that comes out is pathetically weak. It takes forever. It dribbles. It stops and starts. And you're standing there thinking, this was normal yesterday. What happened overnight? Here's what most men don't realize. Nothing happened overnight. Your prostate has been changing gradually for months or years. But the weakness you notice most in the morning is revealing something critical about what's happening inside your body while you sleep. During the night, inflammation in your prostate intensifies. Fluid builds up in the tissue, and when you wake up, your prostate is at its most swollen state of the entire day. That first morning urination is essentially a daily test of how severe your prostate enlargement has become. And if your stream is weak, hesitant, or barely there, your body is telling you that the obstruction has reached a point where it's no longer just inconvenient. It's progressing. And without proper intervention, what you're experiencing in the morning will eventually become how it is all day long. Here's what's actually happening to your prostate overnight that makes morning urination the weakest. When you sleep, your body goes into repair mode. Blood flow to inflamed areas increases to deliver healing factors. But when your prostate is chronically inflamed, that increased blood flow makes the swelling worse temporarily. Think of it like a sprained ankle. At night, when you're resting, the swelling peaks. That's your body trying to heal, but the inflammation causes temporary worsening of symptoms. Your prostate does the same thing. The tissue that's already enlarged from chronic inflammation swells even more overnight. And because your prostate wraps around the urethra, that extra swelling creates maximum compression right when you wake up. The tube carrying urine is being squeezed from all sides at its narrowest point of the entire day. That's why your first stream is the weakest. You're trying to push urine through a tube that's being compressed harder than it will be at any other time. As the day goes on and you move around, some of that fluid retention decreases. The compression eases slightly. Your stream might improve a bit by afternoon. But that morning weakness is the honest assessment. It's showing you the true state of your prostate without any compensation. And here's what connects this to more than just urination. The same inflammation causing overnight swelling in your prostate is also affecting the blood vessels and nerves around it. Those structures control erectile function. When your prostate swells overnight, it compresses those systems too. That's why many men notice morning erections have disappeared. The overnight swelling is severe enough that it's interfering with the natural erections that should happen during REM sleep. So morning urinary weakness isn't just telling you about your bladder. It's telling you that your prostate inflammation has reached a level where it's affecting sexual function too. Both systems are being compressed by the same nightly swelling pattern. This is just information to help you understand what your body is communicating. It's not a diagnosis, but recognizing that morning symptoms reveal the true severity of what's happening helps you understand why addressing this sooner, rather than later, makes such a difference in outcomes. Now here's what typically happens when men notice weak stream in the morning. Most assume it'll get better as the day goes on, which it often does slightly, so they don't think much of it. They adapt by giving themselves extra time in the bathroom. They don't connect it to the deeper inflammation cycle happening every single night. And months go by where that overnight swelling continues, the tissue continues inflaming, and the compression on both urinary and sexual systems intensifies. What started as just morning weakness eventually becomes afternoon weakness, then all-day weakness, then difficulty starting at all. The progression is slow enough that each stage feels normal until you look back and realize how much function you've lost. Men who address this early, when it's still just morning weakness, have significantly better outcomes than men who wait until the obstruction is severe all day long. Early intervention catches the inflammation before it becomes deeply embedded in the tissue. The prostate can still respond well when supported properly, But the longer chronic inflammation continues its nightly cycle, the more difficult reversal becomes. Here's the progression if this pattern continues unaddressed. Your prostate continues its cycle of overnight swelling and daytime slight improvement. But each cycle leaves the tissue slightly more inflamed than before. The baseline gets worse. What was weak only in the morning becomes weak by afternoon, then all day. Eventually, you develop hesitancy, where you have to wait before anything comes out, then dribbling, where the stream never achieves any real force. And in advanced cases, the obstruction becomes severe enough that urination becomes genuinely difficult. Urologists see this exact progression constantly. Men present with severe urinary obstruction. But when they discuss the timeline, morning weakness started a year or two earlier. That was the body's early warning system. The inflammation was already significant enough to create noticeable compression during peak overnight swelling. But because it improved somewhat during the day, it got dismissed as not serious. And by the time they seek treatment, the problem has progressed substantially. So what actually interrupts this cycle? The only approach that addresses overnight inflammation is comprehensive support for your prostate at the cellular level. When you reduce the chronic inflammation in the tissue, the overnight swelling response decreases. When that swelling decreases, the morning compression on your urethra eases. And when that compression eases, your stream starts improving gradually. Most men who take this approach notice changes in their morning urination first, because that's when the difference is most dramatic. The stream that was barely trickling starts achieving some force. The hesitancy decreases. The time it takes to empty shortens. And because the same inflammation, causing urinary compression, was also affecting sexual nerves and blood vessels, many men notice morning erections starting to return as well. This requires a complete approach, targeting every factor driving the inflammation. Natural compounds that reduce swelling in prostate tissue, ingredients that improve circulation, so inflammatory factors get cleared more efficiently. Support for hormonal balance, because hormone dysregulation is often driving the tissue enlargement. Antioxidants that protect cells from the oxidative stress accumulating from chronic inflammation. When all of these work together, you're addressing the root causes of the overnight swelling cycle. Results follow a clear pattern. Most men notice the first improvements in week 3 to 5. Morning stream feels slightly stronger, less hesitancy, faster emptying. Over the next several weeks, improvement continues. The stream gets progressively stronger. Morning urination starts feeling more like it did years earlier, and the improvements typically extend beyond just morning. As baseline inflammation decreases, all-day function improves too. Expectations need to be realistic. This isn't instant. It's systematic reduction of inflammation that's been building for months or years. Timeline varies based on severity and consistency. But the pattern is clear across thousands of men. Support the prostate comprehensively, and the overnight swelling cycle that creates morning weakness can be interrupted and reversed. The alternative is allowing this cycle to continue. And each night of inflammatory swelling compounds the problem. The tissue becomes more dysfunctional. The obstruction worsens. What's manageable morning weakness now progresses to all-day difficulty that significantly impacts quality of life. Taking action, while this is still primarily a morning symptom, gives your prostate the best opportunity to respond before the inflammation becomes deeply chronic. In the description below, there's a link explaining a comprehensive natural approach specifically designed to address the inflammation cycle causing overnight prostate swelling. When that cycle is interrupted and inflammation is reduced at the root level, morning weakness improves, and overall urinary function often follows. If this described your mornings, if you recognize this pattern of overnight worsening, That link explains the approach that addresses what's actually causing it. Before you go, do you notice your stream is weakest? First thing in the morning? Drop a comment. Your response helps other men recognize this as a common sign of prostate inflammation that can be addressed.